The rain came down in shades, blurring the world into a grey and gold smear. Sarah clutched a brown paper bag in her chest, the last of her money spent on fever medicine for her youngest son Leo. At home, 5 children waited in a cool apartment with a dying heater. Her husband had been gone for months, and the weight of their lives rested squarely on her shoulders. He stepped into the crosswalk, lost in thought as a roaring engine came from around the bend. Blinding headlights flooded into view, and for a terrifying moment she froze. An image of Leo's small, flushed face flashed in her mind, then a hard tug. Someone yanked her back just as an SUV speed past, sending a wave of gutter water splashing up her legs. Dazed, she stumbled in onto the sidewalk, the paper bag still miraculously intact. An old woman stood before her, maybe 70, her spine impossibly straight despite a worn coat and a rain-soaked night hat. "Are you all right, sweetheart?" the woman asked, her voice gentle but firm. "Yes, thank you," Sarah stammered. "I didn't see it. My son's sick. I'm just not myself." The woman, whose name was Evelyn, smiled kindly. "Life is precious, dear. You can't rush it." They sat together on a nearby bench, and in the quiet shelter from the storm, Sarah found herself peering out her heart. She told Evelyn about the struggle, the mischief, the rising bills, and the constant ache of worry that lived behind her ribs. Evelyn listened without interruption. A stillness about her that was both comforting and profound. When Sarah was done, Evelyn looked at her with a clear, steady gaze. "I could help," she said simply. "With your children. I'm good with little ones. I used to teach a long time ago. No pay needed. I just need a place to stay and a reason to get up in the morning." Every red flag in Sarah's mind screamed. A homeless stranger offering to live with her kids. But there was no desperation in Evelyn's voice, no stiffness in her eyes. It was a calm, honest offer. And so, against all logic, Sarah said yes. Evelyn walked home with her that night. Inside the small, cluttered apartment, the kids, who had not seen a stranger in their home since their father's death, didn't hide. Her oldest daughter, Netila, a girl who often acted as a second mother, walked right up and offered Evelyn a towel. The next morning, Evelyn seemed to move through the household's chores like she had always belonged. In just a few hours, she had cooked oatmeal, taught Netila to sort laundry, and calmed Leo during a coughing fit. When Sarah left for home, she saw Evelyn at the kitchen table helping her eldest son, Mia, with his homework. It was a sight to see, so normal, so peaceful that it almost brought tears to her eyes. Sarah didn't tell her co-workers at the clinic about Evelyn. How could she explain it? The story would sound insane, but one night her colleague Nina, a woman with a sharp eyes and a no-nonsense attitude, gave her a quiet warning. "Watch your back, Sarah," she said. "The world is full of people who look kind when you are desperate." But Evelyn was different. Sarah returned home that night not to chores, but to the smell of roast chicken. It was a full meal, something they had not had in weeks. The kids were already in their pajamas, Mia reading to the younger ones, and Evelyn was smiling with a quiet sense of satisfaction. Later, over mugs of tea, Sarah admitted her fear. "I should be scared letting someone I don't know into my home." Evelyn just nodded. "You are not the only one who's scared, dear." I didn't remember much. only that I used to love literature, that I taught, that I was someone who mattered. You still matter, Sarah said, and she truly meant it. The peace was shattered when Mia, the quite strong one, started getting sick. He was pale and tired but insisted he was fine. Evelyn, however, saw the subtle sign. Mia's breathing a little too fast. She told Sarah, I think it's worth a closer look. Sarah took Mia to the emergency room. After hours of waiting, Dr. Latimer showed them a screen. Mia's heart valve, damaged by a childhood illness, was now severely promised. He will need surgery, she said. We will try to get him in within in the next few months. Months? Sarah's heart sank. She didn't have months. That night she broke down in the kitchen, crying silent tears into her sleeve. Evelyn came in and simply handed her a cup of tea. We will find a way, she said. You are not alone in this. The next morning, Sarah went to the library. She typed Evelyn's name into the computer and but came up took her breath away. Teacher of the Year, Evelyn Brooks, 1997. A photo showed a younger Evelyn holding a plaque standing next to the teenage boy. Henry Brooks, state finalist. That night, Sarah showed Evelyn the photo. Evelyn's finger trembled as she touched the screen. That's my son, she whispered. Henry Brooks? He loved old maps. Do you want to find him? Sarah asked. Yes, Evelyn replied, her voice filled with a sudden, aching clarity. Before it's too late, Henry Brooks was a senior researcher at the University in Columbus. His home was a beautifully restored brick Victorian filled with books and maps. And Sarah and Evelyn arrived. Henry opened the door, tall and weary, not recognizing his mother at first. But when Evelyn whispered his childhood nickname, his face transformed. She held out a silver locket she had never let go of, and when he saw the photo of them inside, he fell into her arms. The years of separation vanished in an instant. As Sarah and Evelyn drove home, Evelyn was quiet, but it was a different kind of quiet. Not lost, but full. They returned to the apartment to find Mia curled on the couch, his breathing shallow. I think I need to go back to the hospital, he whispered. The emergency room felt colder than this time. The cardiologist's word hit like a hammer. The damage was now severe. He needed surgery in days, not months, but there was still a 6 to 8 week wait list. In a panic, Sarah called Henry. He's getting worse, she said, her voice shaking. They said weeks. I don't have weeks. I know someone at the state cardiology center, Henry said. Let me make a call. The next morning, Henry drove up with a folded stamp with the logo of the Ohio Heart Institute. I made an appointment for tomorrow, he said. They will admit him under a clinical trial. It's a minimally invasive surgery, a faster recovering, and it's covered by research finding. Tears streamed down Sarah's face. I can't repay you, she whispered. Henry looked at her, his eyes warm and sincere. You gave me my mother back. There is nothing else to say. Mia's surgery was successful. He came home a week later, with stitches on his chest and a new brightness in his eyes. Henry invited them to stay at his home for a while, just until things settle, he said, but as Sarah saw the kids chasing each other around his garden, she knew it was not about convenience, it was about belonging. His home became their home. The kids were enchanted by the maps and atlases, The old paintings and the stories Henry told, they were not just cash anymore. They were family. One afternoon, Evelyn looked at Sarah and asked, "Do you ever miss the apartment?" Sarah smiled. "No, I miss what it represented. The fight, the grit, but not the walls, not the silence." But Evelyn said, "Because this feels like home." Almost 2 months later, Sarah sat with Henry on the back porch. "I think we are ready," she said, her hand finding his. He didn't ask what she meant. He just squeezed a hand. "Welcome home," he said simply. That Friday, they all sat around the long dining table for their first official family dinner. Evelyn recited a poem about resilience. Mia presented a hand-drawn map of the Ohio River. And Sarah, for the first time in years, just sat and listened to the laughter and the life that filled the house. They had made it through the storm, and they had finally found their way home.